I had to come to the office today.
Yours doesn't sound very good.
What? His
Dave
sounds
doesn't
great.
sound very good.
It just sounds quiet to me,
Yeah, it's quiet.
but it sounds fine.
Man, you guys are hard to work with. All right, let's get started with this. This is episode 14, correct?
I don't know.
Geez.
Let me go check. Why do we do this every
Man.
time?
We have 2 podcasts, and every intro to each podcast is us like speculating on what
You're correct.
episode it is.
14.
I'm pretty sure it's 14 because I did check it out. So, in a different week this week, because pretty busy with, well, not really, but semi-busy. Some of us were busy, I guess I should say, because we had a broadcast this week that took place in Western Australia, Busselton to be exact. And I don't know, should we start there or what else? I guess,
Well,
how was
Turkey Trot.
everybody's
Yeah, we should
Thanksgiving?
probably do Turkey Trot Thanksgiving first.
I forgot about Turkey Trot. It's 3 days ago.
It's so long ago.
It was. So
Well, I
on
had a great Thanksgiving.
Good.
Elaborate, please.
Well, I had my husband Dave there, my mom and my sister. I had Ryan, Kelly, and Izzy come, and we had tons of great food. I think one of the coolest things is Izzy said, "Well, what can I bring?" You know, my mom said never to come without offering. And I said, "Well, why don't you bring something that's special to you for Thanksgiving that will remind you of your family since you're not with them this year?" And she brought some great Brussels sprouts, but what she made that was unique was a carrot souffle, which I don't know how to explain it other than to say it was a sweet souffle and it was absolutely delicious, but it was fun to have something new and to know that it made her feel like her family was with us.
Yum.
That sounds
I
gross.
didn't like it. It's not that I didn't like it, but it resembled sweet potato pie way too much because
Oh,
it had
yeah.
the same color. It did not taste like sweet potato pie, but the optics of it on my plate threw me off.
The optics.
It's all about the optics, you know?
So, but before that started, we went and me and Ryan Kelly went and shot video. You were a participant, so you guys can't see the video, but Mel's got really wide eyes, like she got left out. But me and Ryan Kelly and Mel went, but me and Ryan Kelly went and shot video and worked. And so we went to the Louisville Turkey Trot 5K.
Community food share,
share.
Louisville Turkey Trot.
Yes. It was an awesome event. We saw Ann Wessling, who we work with a lot, who's a announcer for running races. And then we also saw our friend Rowan, who used to work for BCC. And we also saw David Benji's. So we saw a lot of event people. And I'll give you my 2 cents on that event. Like, what a smash hit. You know, the fact that there was multiple free beer vendors. There was a great, like, post-race expo area where they were serving coffee and cocoa, and Liquid Mechanics was out there doing free beer, and Four Noses was out there doing free beer. And Ryan, I don't know if you remember the other breweries because I hate to leave them out.
Stem Cider was there doing the
yes.
cider.
STEM was there.
Yeah. And they did a great job because it just was a super festive post-race. I mean, everything was put together well. I thought it was a great event overall. But we went and all we did was shot video, which I'll be honest with you is boring. Like just to shoot video. Like I think we're just overstimulated at events because that's only a small part of what we do. And so we were asked to shoot people in costumes and the fun and the festivity. And there was a lot of that. So you didn't have to like look for it. Like sometimes at events, you have to go find, like if somebody's like, go find signs, you have to go find signs. But here, everybody was dressed up in turkey costumes and Christmas outfits and stuff like that. So I give the event that we were not involved in from an operational standpoint, 5 stars. I thought it was great.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And then Ryan edited a quick video for him, and then Tom edited it like a full-length video that we'll send off to him. And yeah, I think it represents the event well. My only complaint from the video perspective is we've always been trained to show the best of the event and show how beautiful everything is. And it was snowy, snow on the ground, cold, wet. It was a mess.
But
it made it hard to make it look like, oh, I can't wait to be out there tromping through the slush.
Except it was an absolutely beautiful day. Sun was shining. When we got up in the morning, I was cursing myself. I was mad that I had agreed to go do this. It was so cold. It was 10 degrees at home. And I thought, how am I going to get out and walk a 5K? And it's so cold. And then by the time we got out of the car, we were there an hour and a half too early, which no surprise there. We always get whatever job it is, we're always there early. So we sat in the car and I was still cursing myself. And then when I met up, John Michelle walked with us, and he had a friend from Ecuador and Izzy, my mom, and I. So there were 5 of us. And I had a 360 camera and my iPhone 16, super high tech. And I took video on course for us. But once we got started, I was like, okay, you know what? This is not so bad. And then by the time we were done, it was about 28 degrees. And so warmed up as we went, but in the end it was super fun. And there was like a pancake aid station out there,
Nice.
Some people just making pancakes. There was this group dressed up in inflatable costumes, and one was a turkey that said Happy Thanksgiving. Another one was in like a bear costume, and they had a candy table aid station, so you could stop and get a Hershey's Kiss. And then they had a chicken dressed up holding a sign that said eat more turkey. And so it was like there were little things like that along the route that were super fun that Dave and Ryan didn't get to see because they weren't on course, but that I took video of. So that's why I was like, hey, I also was a videographer on course.
I'll be
I think
honest.
you were just missing my point. It doesn't look good on video when it's snowy and sloppy. I wasn't suggesting like people didn't have fun, but as you know, most of our customers would be like, start over, that they wouldn't want to use video like that. And again, we'll share the video on our social and stuff once the customer approves it. It makes it look like a fun event. I'm just saying that it was sloppy weather.
Yeah, I'll be honest. One year, a few years back, Kay and I did the Colder Boulder, which is in December, and I was super bummed that it wasn't snowing or had snow on the ground. So it was like, I really wanted to, and part of that might be coming from originally Texas and never having snow, that I still find it novel and enjoy being in the snow. But I was bummed. So I feel like there is a subsection of people who'll be very excited for video of it being snowy on Thanksgiving for the Turkey Trot, because they'll be like, yeah, I love snow.
It's not just another 5K. There's plenty of other 5Ks in the spring and the summer that, I could see that.
True. And like I said, overall, a good event. It was cold. I agree with Mel. When I woke up Thanksgiving morning, I was like, why did I say yes to this? I would have much rather just stayed home and watch football or whatever, but it all worked out, and we expected to have issues from the cold with the batteries on our cameras. We don't shoot a lot of video in cold weather, but really no issues. I mean, we kept them warm, and I kept my camera inside my down coat unless I was shooting. And then about halfway through the morning, I just switched over to a GoPro with a Vuelta.
I didn't have any battery issues, even with the drone. I felt like I got full flight time out of the drone, and my camera at the end. I flew the drone for a lot of the morning, but then I was using the FX3, and I think it was down to like 40% by the end of the day. I didn't see. It wasn't as affected as I thought it was going to be. Like when we first stepped outside, I was like, "Uh-oh, it's really cold." But by the end of the event,
And we don't do a lot of professional work in cold weather. Most of the events we do are suited for warm weather, like running and swimming and triathlons and stuff like that. But so anyway, kudos to the Community Food Share Louisville Turkey Trot 5K.
Louisville.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, why do you do that?
I don't know. It's just hard. I think I got beat into me and going to Louisville, Kentucky so many times. It sounds
but even
cooler.
at that, when you say Kentucky, it's Louisville.
They have like 6 ways you can pronounce it. They have
but
a sign.
It is Louisville. I'll tell you a funny story. Is me and Dave Ragsdale were the announcers for Ironman Louisville, and he's announcing people finishing, and he taps me on the shoulder, and then he's like, John Doe from Louisville, Colorado. And, after saying Louisville all day, it was pretty clever. That guy pays attention for sure.
That's awesome.
One of my favorites. He's one of my faves.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we mentioned, seeing Ann Westling this weekend, she's one of my faves. We love working with her and stuff, and she brings great energy to events.
Can I tell you something funny? So I see her at the stage as I'm walking to go meet our posse, and I'm like, I walk up really quietly with my silly hat on, and I said, "Excuse me, can you tell me where the start line is?" And we're at the start line there's a giant inflatable, and I'm like, I'm not sure how to find the start line. And she turns and she has this smile on her face. It's like, you're an idiot, but you're there. And she sees it's me and gives me a big hug. But what I don't realize at the time is that there's someone else there doing exactly the same thing, like an athlete that isn't joking. And then I feel like kind of a jerk because this person's looking at the map. And then she goes, you know what? I'll just probably follow everybody else, and walks away. And then Ann and I looked at each other, and we both kind of felt bad because I was just joking, and that lady was not.
Face.
Oh, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, so I did feel kind of bad, but it was good to see Ann.
You guys come across as mean girls to me.
That is not true. I am so nice, except when I'm not.
I am so nice. You guys don't understand.
So then everybody went their own way. We had a good Thanksgiving, and then I think we mentioned this on the last podcast, but they don't have Thanksgiving in Western Australia.
Not thankful. Not thankful.
And so we did a signal test at 4:30 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day, turkey's out of the oven, ready to be carved, and had to do a signal test. But I love our partners down there. Next Up Digital is who we work with. And I don't even know if they knew it was Thanksgiving. I wasn't going to ask for sympathy or anything, but it went fast, and we had a successful signal test on Thursday. And then Friday, just get the studio all set up and ready to go for the broadcast, which was Saturday, which is now yesterday. And I think my new favorite region to broadcast from is Pac Asia.
Yeah.
Because it started at 2 p.m. Colorado time.
It was so nice.
So we usually start at leaving the house at 2 or 3 a.m. or leaving the house at 8 or 9 p.m. and having the race go overnight. But at this one, I was home by 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
You were, yeah. We left the office at 8:45.
Did you guys go find some place to get dinner afterward? I know you guys were joking about that earlier in the week.
Oh, I forgot.
Marcus
Marcus mentioned that, and I forgot.
Our friend Matt was angling for dinner. He's like, "Where's a good place to eat?" And we were like, "Go down here on the left. You'll love it."
Have fun.
I was ready to go home.
Well, Marcus, did you see me go back in the office after we left?
I did.
I'd forgotten my leftover dinner for.
So I was like,
we can't leave. Oh, Dave probably already ate it.
Good.
No, but if it's in the fridge, I will.
It should be.
So overall, we had a good broadcast. It was an Ironman 70.3 Pac Asia Championship, and overall, we had not a lot of technical issues. Although we noticed one after the fact today that there's a little bit of noise in one of our recordings, so we're going to try to fix that. But I think the one, and we keep track of each other's mistakes, which is what's funny. And so if you make a mistake, everybody makes sure you know, and that counted against you. And I had a goal of having like a really clean race, and I almost did. Like I didn't hit the fade to black button or anything like that. But Mel was letting the dogs out, and I heard this really light scratch on the door, so I thought it was Chicky. And so I opened the door to the studio, and Bro came in at like 100 miles an hour, and Chicky thought it was time to fight. And so he chased him over to the studio desk, and they went at it for a second.
Just they did a lap, barking. As a matter of fact,
like the host desk or like the switcher desk?
They went to the host desk.
Host desk.
All right, so
like
everybody,
really clean audio.
I'm going to need you to be quiet for just a second. I'm going to see if I can make this work. All right, y'all ready?
And the type of cyclists they are, that is going to be a big match. But I wonder if Robert Callan is dogfight out on course. Everybody's okay. Marked as safe.
Marked as safe.
Not Matt calling it out.
Man.
I love it. I don't think that's a mistake.
It was so funny.
Yeah, it was. I mean, usually they just come in and they're pretty cool. Like it's when they have been in there for an hour when they get wound up. But for some reason, man, they were so excited to go see Sid and Matt. It's Laura Siddall and Matt Lieto who are the commentators. And they just did a hot lap around the desk. Chicky was trying to attack Bro. And so, and then.
And if they played it cool, they could have stayed in the room. Play it cool.
Yeah,
They did
that's
not
why they
play it
can't stay in
cool.
the studio.
They never
And
played
Matt
it cool.
played it off well. If you hear in the recording, he said, which was a little obvious that it wasn't in Australia, but so anyway, that was a good solid point deduction. And then I gave myself two other like fractional point deductions when I have a radio in my ear where the people in Australia are telling me what to tell the hosts. And so I'm simply just passing things on to the hosts. And I can't remember what was the first one. Oh, they said, we're going to a drone shot and it's going to show second place. So I was like, Matt, drone shot, second place. And then he ignores it because it wasn't second place. And then so the people are in my ear. They're like, no, let him know that's second place. So I let him know again. And then did he announce it as second place?
He was like, I'm pretty sure someone, I think that's third place. That's Mark Dubrick. I'm pretty sure based on what he's wearing and how he's running that's not second, but that is third place.
And in my ear, they're like, no, it's second place. And it wasn't. Matt was right. It was third. But then it happened again later that they were like, we're going to throw down to the announcer on the ground to do the interview. And it's Pete Murray, who's a friend of ours. And so Matt's like, who's doing the interview? And I was like, Pete Murray. And all of a sudden they pop up on camera and it's Craig Alexander doing the interview. But it was too late. Matt had already announced him as Pete Murray because I told him to, but it wasn't Pete Murray.
But the funny thing is then for the rest of the show, every time we were doing anything on the ground, we're like, and you're going to be thrown to Pete Murray or.
Yeah. So it's funny because you hear stuff in your ear. You know, we have comms connected to, 30 or 40 different people. A bunch of them are in Australia. There's some of them scattered around the globe who play different roles in the broadcast. But all the info I got in my ear last night was wrong, and I was passing it on. And so, Marcus, you told me what your strategy is on that, and I'm taking your strategy going forward.
Yeah, I never repeat anything that someone says in my ear to say to the hosts. Because if it's right, the hosts will know when they see it.
Right. And he could have said, let's go down to the interviews. Because a lot of times we don't know the name of the announcer on the ground.
Yeah, but here's the thing, is that when you don't say it, then they keep saying it in your ear. Like, and that's true of every partner we have globally.
I tell them, no worries. I'll tell them. I'll pass that along.
But I'm saying when the host, because they're listening to the hosts on the IFB, and they're like, they're not saying it. Tell them it's, XYZ. And they all seem to keep trying to reinforce, because they're like, they're not saying it. Why aren't they saying it?
Yeah, I'm going to take Marcus's strategy and never
No,
pass
I'm not
anything.
saying we should do it. I'm just saying when you don't do it,
you hear
they're
about
like,
it.
yeah, they don't stop.
Yeah, but overall, a good broadcast. Although it's Sunday, and I'm like, at the end of the swim, we do what's called a post-race edit, and we edit, a 6 to 10 hour broadcast down to an hour and a half or 2 hours. So I'm like 30 minutes in of an hour and 40-minute edit.
Why'd you end up having to do that cut down instead of the shorter one?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So we also do one called like a post-race report that's a 10 to 12 minute video versus the hour and a half to 2 hour cut down. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I definitely came to the realization last night is I'm poor at leadership, because I should have just said, Mark is here, this is for you.
Yeah.
And I'll see you later. I'm going home. And I offered to rock, paper, scissors him, and I lost.
Yeah.
The first round was a draw, and I lost on the second round.
Yeah,
because you were afraid to go scissors, because in the sample, here's on the count we're going to do, you did scissors. So Marcus knew you wouldn't go scissors.
Yeah, I did use some game psychology on that. Question for everyone here. Do you go rock, paper, scissors, or do you go rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Shoot.
You have to clarify every time.
You do have to clarify. I'm curious what y'all's is. Dave's is rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, so is mine.
Okay.
And obviously, because we're related, and that's how we do it.
Makes sense. Dylan, if you chose, I always go shoot.
If I had to choose, I guess maybe shoot.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Wait, so you're saying you go rock, paper, scissors,
shoot. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's wrong.
Ryan?
Yeah, but it's definitely shoot, unless it's like Rochambeau or something. It's a different game. Same game, but
That's
different.
a much different game.
Wait, how is Rochambeau a different game?
It's just rock, paper, scissors with a different count.
What?
Oh, man.
Dude, what is happening right now?
I thought he was referencing South Park when they Rochambeau.
No, he's
Nevertheless, I will never Rochambeau for a post-race cut down.
And then what's the other reason that you're there?
Well, so as I mentioned, there's some noise on the recording, and I had high hopes that it was so we record with 3 recorders. And so I had high hopes that the background noise was just on the main recorder, because the other ones are basically wirelessly connected, essentially. And so I was like, well, it probably won't be on those, but it was.
Well, so no, I meant the other reason that you're there.
Well, that's the 99.9% reason. Also, our storage server is full, and so I'm here culling data.
I can't even upload. Mark asked me to do another just 12-second teaser video. So you know how big those are. They're 24 megabytes. I have 2 of them. I can't even upload those. We're so full.
Yeah, and I did make some headway on getting rid of stuff. So we should have some space here soon.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll just take the minute to process.
I just want to go on the record. Google AI says Rochambeau, also known as rock, paper, scissors, is a hand game where players simultaneously form one of 3 shapes with their hands, rock, paper, or scissors. That was the first result when you type in Rochambeau on Google. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about.
It doesn't have a different count than rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, yeah, there's no shoot. It's just go. It's different.
Yeah.
What is happening?
It's just, I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
I think
Or
Well-
definitely not.
we need to figure out how to take a poll, I think.
I agree.
I think that what confused Ryan was when you said shoot at the end, that there's no shoot. You don't actually say shoot. It's just rock, paper, scissors, go.
And
Some
you shoot
people
your
do.
shot.
I say
But
shoot.
that would be
I
shoot.
don't.
But you could say go, or you could not say anything. But it's
You
on the
say
4
nothing.
count.
All of you are weird. You say, yeah, it's on the 4 count. You don't say anything.
Well, Google it. This is not a new question for the world.
Well,
This
Ryan
is
just Googled it.
No, he Googled what does Rochambeau mean.
Yeah, because I thought you brought up South Park. I thought it was like
No, in South
Something
Park they
inappropriate or
Rochambeau.
something.
No, in South Park they rock paper scissors, but at the end, Cartman kicks him in the junk. That's like when he's like, "You want a Rochambeau?" He just kicks people in the junk to win. That's what he does.
Google AI says the standard version of the game is the hand reveal happens on the 4th count, whether you say shoot or not.
Boom.
Ugh.
Whatever. AI, it's
Yeah, who
Whatevs.
uses AI these
How
days?
about-
nobody.
Rock paper scissors lizard Spock. Anybody?
Yeah, that's the good one right there.
That's a good one.
what's that? Is that like the bonus pack?
Yeah, it's the bonus pack. It's
Yes.
from Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Nerds.
Is this a revelation for
Ryan,
you?
that Ryan doesn't watch movies or TV shows.
And that
Sure.
Marcus plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Absolutely. Go check out the podcast. It's called.
That's your other podcast?
Yeah,
Your other podcast?
my other podcast.
So we got a couple events coming up this week. We have Rock and Roll San Antonio on Sunday, and we have
And not Haines City,
Iron
Indian
Man
Wells,
70.3 Indian Wells on Sunday
Quinta.
also.
La Quinta.
So, and me and Mel are leaving town on vacation, and Dylan and Ryan are going to New Zealand for the Ironman 70.3 World Championships, which is 2 weeks away. And we'll be back in the studio and we'll figure out the background noise between now and then, I hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How did Marcus? How did all the patching go with the new rack?
I think it all worked. I don't know of any.
Well, there's a buzz on the. audio.
Incorrect. Well, you know what? I should go listen to it on Outside, because Outside has a direct feed from the TriCaster. All the other ones go routed through the new patch panel.
And I had the headphones on most of the day yesterday, and I did not hear it, but it's also a very subtle sound that you have to turn it up really loud to be able to hear it.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
And we'll see if we can take it out and post. It's not Marcus. I mean, Marcus didn't notice it.
I didn't notice it.
He was done with his edit, and I said, "Hey,
I'd
did you
already
notice?"
sent it off. I was like, here you go.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's just a little bit of a background. And we use different kinds of tools that we'll see if Acusonus can fix it in post. But again, nobody's noticed it. I mean, my guess is it was on the air all day yesterday and nobody noticed it. And I had headphones on and didn't notice it. And it only happened when people were talking.
Yeah.
Good.
Which there might be a noise gate that was causing that. It might have been consistent, but the noise gate was preventing it.
Yeah, right. That's what I think it was.
Yeah, there is a noise gate right on the microphone source.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe.
Well, and that's Marcus's job in the next 2 weeks to flush that out and make sure that's solved before.
I'll take care of it.
New gear.
And
That's fun.
Yeah, I know. It's been a successful year from both events and broadcasting and video production, but I'm ready for it to be over. I'm ready
Yep.
for the off season. We did some major maintenance in our studio last week that we didn't really tell a lot of people about and I don't think this sound issue's related to that, although it might be, but I don't think so. But we did a lot of maintenance and we didn't tell anybody. We just did it. And then we were confident it was going to work. But now everything in our video rack, which is dozens and dozens and dozens of video cables, are all switched digitally So there's no physical touching of the cables anymore. So we put in what's called a 40-port Blackmagic video hub. And I think it's going to be nice, although it's a very passive change, that it's not something that you're going to feel the benefits from very often.
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge, especially when we need to reroute things, to be able to do it digitally from a computer or the digital interface on the front of the device. I think it's going to be beneficial.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
It does look cool.
It makes the rack look way cooler.
Yeah.
And you see those, if you go to Blackmagic, they make video hardware. If you go, they have all these photos of these really clean racks. And I've always felt like that's BS. Like there's just more to it than that. But no, the way they do it is the front of your rack is going to look really clean. And we did some fantastic stuff yesterday. Just to touch on the broadcast again, we had 2 streams coming from Bustleton. They both went to Sydney, and in Sydney they got onto different content delivery networks, or CDNs, and then one of them went to New York and one of them went to LA, and then they came to our office. And in live streaming, understanding the path that your video takes is very important to avoid issues. Avoid the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight kind of thing. It has to do with routing and how you distribute it. And it doesn't have to do as much with how many people are watching, but as how it's routed and stuff. And then we add in hosts and video and all kinds of stuff. And then we send it back to all these different places in the world, including China. We had 2 streams, a primary and a backup stream, going to China yesterday, one going to France, one going to Great Britain, one going to YouTube, but the YouTube one's not visible in the United States, and then 2 additional ones going to outside TV. So a fairly complex distribution plan, and I would say overall it was on the better side of events. Even when they're in Boulder, Colorado, it was on the better side of everything worked. We had one like maybe 5 or 10 second blip, but we had a backup stream, so we just switched over to that, which was interesting because it was 5 seconds behind the other one. And so when you switch back, you got to time it properly to where you're not showing the same footage again. And then there was a very static shot on the screen for a while of somebody riding their bike, and we switched it, and I don't think anybody noticed.
Yeah, I would agree that no one noticed. And I want a huge shout out to Next Up. I know you mentioned them earlier, but man, their control room was dialed communication wise this week and absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, the best I've experienced communication with, and I don't know, her name was Christy. And I did go try to Google her, and I think it's Christy from Perth, and she has a video. She's a professional, obviously, but filling us in, like, we're going to go peek at the men, we're going to go to the women, and because there's a men's race and a women's race happening at the same time, and telling us what to expect before it happened. And then I appreciate like the countdowns, even though we're so far away, it takes an additional 10 seconds to get to us. But I know when Christy would get to 0 on her countdown, that's when I would tell our host 10 seconds. And all of that back and forth stuff worked out really well, and good communications, good work with Next Up and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good to work with professional people that care.
Yeah, absolutely. All our partners are great, but it's been cool because we do just a couple with Next Up throughout the season, and so I feel like they're similar to us in that they're a smaller production company, and I feel like we've seen them grow and get better like we have.
People that care is something that matters a lot. That goes so far in the industry that we work in, which reminds me of our unofficial motto: "We care so you don't have to."
Yeah. And
I don't feel like you said that right.
We care so you don't have to.
Yeah, there you go. We care so you don't have to.
And one of the things our friend Ted, his name's Ted Metellus, he's the race director of the New York City Marathon, but he used to always say, and this is like a dozen years ago or more, you can't teach care. And you can't. Like, you come packaged with it or you don't, and seldom do you ever see somebody like threatened into caring or beat into caring, or, you know, you're going to lose your job if you don't learn how to care. That doesn't change people. Like, they either care or they don't. And so, as we were saying, it was nice to work with, and we do most weekends, work with a group of people that do care.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, honestly, all of the partners that we work with are awesome, and they all have their different strengths. I mean, truly, you know, some people, it's the director on the other end who's, you know, doing some of the switching that's awesome. Sometimes it's just that they are amazing with their gear and their camera work. And so it's just, we get something different with each of our partners.
I know one that doesn't care. Everybody's eyes lit up.
He's calling somebody out. Oh, man. I was like, oh, he's dropping some bombs.
Yeah, no, I don't. Everybody's eyes lit up, though, is like, who's getting thrown under the bus?
Spilling some tea.
I think we need to name, wait, hold on, I'm sorry. I think we need to name this episode We Care So You Don't Have To.
I think that's the 500 Cats slogan officially now.
Yeah, and we should do the AI song of We Care So You Don't Have To.
Oh, my gosh.
My plan, which might get us fired, was to make a new Pro Series song.
Awesome.
We'll debut the 2025 theme song right here today. You heard it here first.
And all in all, there's a song that's like a theme song to the broadcast we do. And we didn't have anything to do with creating it, even though we're the most prolific song creators of all time. It was given to us, and then it was given to us with the instructions of, like, no more silence. Like, this plays whenever there's silence. And by the end of the show, you've heard it a lot of times, because we play it when you go into a commercial, we play it when you come out of a commercial. So you hear a lot of it. So I think when I'm done with the edit, I will put together a new Pro Series song, and then I'll tell you what, we'll send it off and we'll fill you guys in on 500 Cats on what the response was.
I say you just air it. Just air it.
Just air it.
Just pick commercial number 15 and
Ironman World Championship 70.3 Topa. Here we go.
I told Dave I wanted him to, like, all these songs that he's making all the time that are so funny and so good, that this woman I follow on TikTok has a mystery dog, and she's like, what's today's mystery dog? And she keeps saying all the time, man, I wish we had a song to introduce mystery dog. And I was like, all right, Dave, we need to create the song for mystery dog, because you make so many, the turkey worky or lots of turkey, lots of worky. I mean, that stuck in my head. I feel like we can come up with a good mystery dog song.
Yeah, we can do that. A new Pro Series song, and We Care So You Don't Have To.
And then mystery dog.
You got to share the turkey with these guys.
Oh, yeah, there was some funny songs made on Thanksgiving.
With my mom in the room.
I had my iPhone, and it was connected to we have like a Bose Bluetooth speaker. So we're talking sending these things to market like in a matter of minutes. And the turkey, and Ryan made it hard. It's like rhythm, like instead of rhythm. But we'll play that song also. But that's the juice
We're not
in the bottom of the turkey pan that you have to put in the gravy.
Or the gravy doesn't taste right.
Or the gravy doesn't taste right. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, turkey rhythm.
Thank you, Marcus.
RIDDIM.
And then there's one about turtles. There was a whole playlist created that night.
There was a whole playlist, and I made one about the carrot soufflé.
No, no one liked it.
Super positive.
Listen, the carrot souffle, just to bring the beginning of the show and the end of the show together, the carrot souffle was delicious. If you don't like
Carrots.
sweet potato pie, as Dave calls it, nope, it doesn't taste like carrots. It's just
crazy.
like a sweet, fluffy, orange.
You lost me at sweet.
Deliciousness. Yeah, you and Dave are the same, Dylan.
All right. Well, we'll put those songs on our 500cats.com. And again, can you believe we got that domain name? We'll put the songs. There's a SoundCloud playlist, and we'll put Chicken Rhythm as what it was called. And the new Pro Series song.
And we don't care. We care, so you don't have to.
Yes. So, and then everybody goes their own directions this week. Marcus is the only one that's going to be around for a little while.
Yep.
So,
You can go
so good luck getting that buzz out of the PA.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. My concern is we couldn't hear it yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was my concern because, as you know, I wear the headphones almost all day. I mean, I have a headphone on an ear like 90% of the time, and I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I think it'll help when there's not as much going on, like it's not live, that you're paying attention to a bunch of other stuff, and then turning it way up, because you have it turned up enough so that you can hear it clearly, but you're not listening for a low buzz.
Yeah, exactly is exactly why it probably wasn't noticed. And we'll see who notices it.
Yeah.
Now that we've talked about it on the podcast for
this
half
is
an hour.
out
All
live,
the people.
everybody.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, 500cats.com. And we're going to leave you with the new
We care so you don't have
Iron Man
to.
Pro Series song called We Care So You Don't Have To.
Strap up, lace up, pavement to conquer. Iron Man cycle, heart rate a monster. Energy bars and gels, fuel for the journey. Sweat pouring down in a relentless flurry.